Oga, what do you want me to do about it?
Give us light.
That's the only thing you've been saying since you came into my office.
Maybe you're working.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another session of news, views, and analysis only on the NTA network service. It's Weekend File, and I'm glad to have you join us again. Tomato is a common food condiment known to be culinary vegetable, but botanically fruit. What about tomato, you may ask? It is rich in minerals, carbohydrates, and vitamin. Tomatoes have short growing period of 3 to 4 months. With good management practice and irrigation, the various species of tomatoes can be grown all year round. Tomatoes are obtained in large quantities from many parts of the country, but in greatest abundance from the upland areas. It is estimated that the country's yearly harvest of fresh tomatoes is enough to support over 50 processing plants with a rated capacity of each of the 10 full government workers in the integrated personnel payroll information system. The minister made this known while briefing newsmen at the ongoing biometric data capturing of police officers in Sagamu Area Command. Correspondent Joel Bobola reports.
Finance Minister Kemi Adeosun noted that the biometric data capturing of officers and men of the Nigerian police into the IPPIS is very significant in view of the numerical strength of the force on government payroll. She said the essence of the compulsory IPPIS enrollment for all federal civil servants is to ensure efficiency in the payment of salaries, eradicate the menace of ghost workers and other sharp practices.
Well, so far we've reduced what we pay out monthly by
and that has really hampered if we are ready to do business.
In the long quest for reform of the water sector, the National Council on Privatization had in 2008 approved the constitution of the steering committee to midwife the partial commercialization of the RBDAs, but that never came into fruition. And now the federal government, through Water Resources Ministry, says that the process cannot be put on hold any longer, particularly now that diversification to agriculture is being prioritized.
We believe that the river basins development authorities will play a key role in improving the agricultural production.
Suleiman Adamu says the partial commercialization is to enable the RBDAs to overcome their challenges, particularly dependence on government for funding. The technical subcommittee was drawn from Water Resources Ministry, BPE, ICRC and Labour Union to work with the NCP Steering Committee, chaired by the Water Resources Minister. In Abuja, Musbal and Wahab, NT News.
Religious leaders have advised Nigerians to exercise patience with President Muhammadu Buhari's administration as he continues to address the economic challenges in the country. This was at the first session of the 4th Synod of the Diocese of Lagos Mainland Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion in Lagos. Tunde Saiki reports. President Muhammadu Buhari has impacted much on the socio-economic and political lives of Nigerians. He made this known while briefing newsmen on the state of the nation in Abuja. Joseph Johnson reports.
With an unflinching desire to always lend a collective voice as a union to issues of national importance, the President, Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, Wahid Odusile, expressed the belief that the appraisal of the 1 year of the Buhari administration, apart from adding to the many plausible contributions of patriots, will also bring about respect to the union. While commending President Muhammadu Buhari for the progress made in the fight against corruption, he noted that everyone who deserves to be investigated and prosecuted must not be spared.
We call on the government to, as a matter of urgency, disclose to Nigerians the amount recovered so far from these looters of our economy, looters of our treasury, and devote such funds to socio-infrastructural development.
He described Nigeria's economy as being in a really bad shape and urged the government to reflate it by working
with flying colors as qualified pilot for the Nigerian Air Force.
The training program for the pilots will run between 6 and 12 months. KG Busari Ahmed, NTA News.
As part of activities marking its 60th anniversary, the Nigerian Navy and other navies in the Gulf of Guinea have embarked on a 2-day regional maritime sea exercise tagged Opea Toha. Ken Ebelugue reports that the exercise was flagged off by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Gabriel Olonikashi, at the Naval Dockyard Jetty in Victoria Island, Lagos.
The exercise was on a fictitious rescue operation of a merchant ship, MT Jau and a crew. It was
Children's Day. Governor Abdullahi Omar Ganduje, who made the presentation, also unveiled a 10-year strategic plan towards improving the well-being of women and children. Abdullahi Mustafa reports.
Children's Day is observed and celebrated annually to promote and improve the welfare of children globally. Unlike in the previous years when the day was being celebrated with fanfare, the 2016 edition in Kano came in a different way. Governor Abdullahi Omar Ganduje invited 500 orphans from the 44 local government areas of the state. The decision, he said, was to give them sense of belonging and part of plans to improve the well-being of children. Dr. Ganduje, who presented 20,000
perform the function of social responsibility. We are supposed to be the voice of the children and also the voices of the teachers. And that's why we are saying today enough is enough of abduction of children. Enough is enough of using them for rituals.
Children were given awareness talks on dangers around them, while school authorities were advised on the importance of providing safe school environments. Other key interest groups like the Federal Road Safety Corps, the Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers were advised on the need to look inward in their quest to ensure safer roads. The team also pointed out the important role the media and security agencies should play in ensuring that criminals pay for their crimes. The team's one-week visit was to neighboring communities of Rigachiku, Barkanlao, and this.
What does it mean in terms of jobs? What does it mean in terms of taking climate action to protect them? Taking climate action to reduce deforestation from firewood is an air pollution issue for many women. So
the discussions are based on growing evidence that has emerged from countries about economic, social, and environmental benefits that a transition to an inclusive green economy offers for advancing SDGs. The evidence is supported by a range of green development strategies, practices, and technologies that have evolved to enable prosperity for all while avoiding environmental degradation.
The important thing for us in Nigeria is as we are growing, as we are addressing the needs and aspirations of our population, invest in actual technology that does it a green way, so we don't have to pay for it later in the conversion, which will make it much more expensive.
Delegates at the United Nations Environment Assembly are discussing the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Agreement. Other critical topics include air quality, environmental crimes, chemicals, and waste. Nigeria was nominated and appointed as one of the vice presidents of the Bureau for the United Nations Environment Assembly. In Nairobi, Kenya, Aisha Bello Mustafa, NTA News.
Many Nigerians may not be familiar with what tuta absoluta is, but as it stands, almost all can identify with the prohibitive cost of tomatoes in the market. Tuta absoluta, or tomato leaf mine, is the moth which has ravaged tomato farms in 6 producing states, with one of them, Kaduna, declaring a state of emergency. Is Nigeria prepared to tackle what is now called tomato Ebola? How and when? Be with us after this break for a closer look at the issue.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Bringo! Bringo! Dog, I go chop you. Bringo!
Yeah, okay. Ibu, Ibu, Ibu. If you like, try till now to thank Kingdom come. You no go ever fit sing or dance like us. Or shall you fit hammer just like us. Or you carry your phone, text Glow to 555. Answer the shaking football question. When they go send and you fit hammer 5 million naira just like that.
Yes, so 125 million naira they grant bin for the Glow Hammer Millions promo. And you say it be one of the.
You want to hang out with the boys, but Madam says first transfer these funds. Don't worry. Quick teller. You are watching Telemundo when your cable TV suddenly expires. Don't worry. Don't worry. Quick teller. You pick your phone to call your girl, but instead you hear account too low. Don't worry. Quick teller. Go ahead with Quick Teller. Don't worry. Quick Teller.
Quick Teller. Everyday payments made easy.
The Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, through its subsidiary, TV Enterprises, in partnership with Towers International Limited, will host the third NTA Business Investment Forum and Exhibition on harnessing and optimizing Nigerians' natural resources through direct foreign investment, an opportunity to synergize our business relationship, strengthen diplomatic ties, exchange values and resources. We constitute an investment-friendly environment, exhibit our natural resources to global community. Date 26th to 29th of July 2016. Venue Washington D.C., United States.
Because the whole country is behind him.
And by the grace of Almighty God and the sheer will and determination of the Nigerian people, we will come out stronger and more united than ever.
You are welcome back to the program. Now, Nigeria, for the first time in many years, is experiencing scarcity of and high cost of tomato, a major food ingredient for millions of people in the country. The development came a few months after what agriculturists called bumper harvest of tomato in northern parts of the country, and gluts reported across informal commodity market. In this report, Musa Babali takes a look at the factors responsible and the way out.
The Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, has rated Nigeria as the 13th world largest producer of tomato. Farmers in the northern part of the country are the major producers of the vegetable, cultivating largely using irrigation system of farming. How to manage the fruits after harvest, however, especially when the supply is greater than demand, has always been the challenge over the years. Investigations show that about 40% of harvested tomatoes, active extension services are responsible for the ugly situation.
And preservative method is also a problem because we have had a good preservation method. By now, we're supposed to have what we have preserved even from last year.
The Ebola disease must be a thing of great concern to them by now. They should be researching on how to overcome this disease so that it doesn't, be a serious challenge to production.
The federal government says steps are being taken to further boost the production of tomato during this year's rainy season. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Correspondent Emmanuel Akila, who visited some farms in Gombe, one of the tomato-producing states, brings us a report from there.
Tomatoes is one of the vegetables produced in large quantity in Gombe State. Just some few weeks ago, the vegetable is available in almost every market at a giveaway price, as a basket was sold for less than 500 naira until recently, when supply began to drop. Today, the essential produce has gone out of reach for many households. Tomatoes is very costly, such that I have to resort to buying only the processed one. Kodam village in Yamoltudeba local government has suitable land for the cultivation of tomatoes. The farmers attributed the current shortage in supply to pest infestation and bad weather. There is a pest called Yana. It is responsible for killing of the tomatoes that we plant. Sighting of the Manto Tomatoes Processing Company, Kumo, which has been dormant for years, was informed by the availability of the produce in commercial quantity in Gombe State.
It has the potential of producing 50 to 60,000 metric tons per annum.
Tomatoes is cultivated in both the dry season through irrigation farming and in rainy season, with much of the product wasted due to insufficient processing and storage facilities. The scarcity this season might be a wake-up call for investors to consider processing and storage during season of availability to maximize benefit. For Weekend File in Gombe, I am Emmanuel Akila.
Farmers of tomatoes in Kebbi State have advocated government intervention to support all year-round production of the commodity. Nora Tanko Owakili takes a look at the opportunities and challenges of tomato production and its current scarcity in the state.
Kebbi State is one of the largest producers of Harmattan season tomatoes, with high concentration of such farmers in Kebbi Central and Kebbi South senatorial districts. Despite the abundance of land suitable for tomatoes production, farmers only produce during the Harmattan, as according to some of them, the crop cannot survive the harsh weather during the hot season. The farmers also advocated the need for improved and pest-resistant varieties to avoid losses. The farmers said the tomato disease reported in some parts of the country does not exist in Kebbi State because they do not produce during this time of the year. An agricultural scientist with Wazir Umar Federal Polytechnic Birnin Kebbi, Dr. Bashir Ibrahim, advocated the need for farmers to be educated on how to grow tomatoes in hot and rainy season to curtail scarcity.
Farmers must be very, very serious in knowing where they grow their tomatoes and trying to find out the kind of diseases and pests that affect that area in the tomato production.
A basket of tomatoes in Birnin Kebbi now goes for 25 to 28,000 naira, as tomato dealers have to travel all the way to Burkina Faso to get the commodity. Some of the tomato dealers, however, express hope that the price will soon go down when farmers in Jos begin to harvest their tomatoes. This development has now forced people to either buy tinned or dried tomatoes for consumption. In Birnin Kebbi, Nura Tanko Wakili reporting for NTA Weekend File.
As part of efforts towards addressing the issues of scarcity and high cost of tomatoes, sector participants recommend a shift in agricultural practices by deploying greenhouse infrastructure and more crop-resistant varieties to ensure bumper harvest throughout the year. Hamzam Samokrafi reports.
So how much is this tomatoes? How much?
2,500.
Tomato so dear. If cost, affordability and availability are the basis of comparison between tomatoes and other commodities under the current market situation in Nigeria, tomatoes is now king of the crops.
The price should be conducive to the producer and the consumer. That means the producer should sell at a price that he can recover his cost of production with profit.
With the challenges in production and need to fill the consumption gaps, proper application of technology in greenhouse infrastructure can significantly boost yield and limit effects of pests and diseases.
At the end of the day, the cost implication of the pesticide and other integrated management are far easier to be achieved But the issue with this greenhouse is capital intensive.
But what other control measures for Nigeria's tomato farmer under prevailing circumstances?
Will be to apply systemic insecticides that are absorbed and stored within the tissues of the plant. When the insect is feeding, it picks this pesticide and it is killed.
If you rotate a crop that is not a suitable host, and it's not an alternative host, of course, you will have the pest will naturally have a problem. It will die.
There is a more practical approach of addressing the gaps in tomatoes production and use.
When there is glut, what do we do as a nation? We have to harvest that glut. We have to make use of that opportunity by processing, so that we make room for the rainy day. And this is the rainy day now. The day that the tomato is scarce, the processed tomato can now be made available at a price that is affordable to
Experts also envision a partnership that works between the public and private sectors to promote and address challenges of meeting Nigeria's 2.3 million tons of tomatoes annually. In Abuja, Hamza Musa Makarfi, NTA News.
Thank you very much indeed, Hamza. Up ahead is a live discussion with a guest in the studio. Please don't go away. This is Weekend File.
Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
In life, there are many reasons to buy something.
I need someone to buy some snacks for the meeting. I'll pay you later.
Maybe for work.
Yes, I'll go, sir.
Sometimes for fun. Or for that special someone. And sometimes for yourself.
I'd like to pay with my Verve Rewards, please.
With Verve Rewards, every purchase you make gives you instant cash rewards that you can use however you like across a variety of services and products. So whatever your reason to shop, Verve gives you one more.
Hey guys, I need someone.
Yes, I will go, sir.
Verve, the convenient and rewarding way to pay in Africa.
We thank you for staying with us up to this moment on the show tonight. And I'm now being joined by Mr. Kano Michael, Deputy Director, Horticulture in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, to discuss the issues. Mr. Kano, you're welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you, Kirian.
It has been established that a pest invasion or outbreak was responsible for what we are discussing today. Was Nigeria not really aware of this kind of invasion?
Yeah, thank you very much, Kirian. This pest was identified in Nigeria in 2015. It's one of those pests that move from place to place. And nobody prepares for different kinds of pests, but we know they should be pests. And that is why we have crop protection units. But when it came, because of the nature of the pests, scientists moved in to identify what pest it was. Came in through Katsina State in 2015, from Niger, because it's a pest that migrates. When it came into Katsina, it was not quickly known, because the first thing is that farmers who tried to say, oh, this is what we have. The initial awareness was not created. But as soon as it was created, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture got in contact with the Natural Horticultural Research Institute, Ibadan, the executive director, and they moved in to find out.
Since 2015 till now, that was found out. Does it mean that nothing was done, between that time and now?
No, a lot has been done.
What is the result of what was done?
The National Horticultural Research Institute Ibadan has also identified a local parasitoid that can devour this, but is a long-term effect. To breed it takes a longer time. But outside that, the ministry did not just stop through NIHOT in getting these parasitoids. The ministry also went in to find out how else can we get this eradicated. Then they made consultation with Agronet. Agronet made consultation with Russell UK, who is a leading company in management of this disease, Tuta absoluta. It's not a virus disease. People call it virus. It's no virus. It's a pest. It's an insect. The only thing is that the insect, the multiplication rate is very high. It's referred to as a multivoltine. One female lays 250 to 300 eggs within 3 days. And it is expected that 10 to 12 generations can come up in a year. So that makes it a very dangerous insect.
Yeah, the ordinary Nigerian would like to ask the difficulty in getting around the killing of a pest that exists, that can be analyzed, chemically analyzed, to know what gives it life and what can take life out of it. Yes. Now, we're talking about scientists. So does it mean that scientists have failed? Because one, we learned also that Kaduna State government in particular has sent some experts to Kenya, who Kenya perhaps may have experienced this kind of thing and dealt with it, and now sent Nigerians to Kenya to see how they can get the technology. So what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, the issue is this. There are a lot of chemicals in Nigerian market today. One problem with the insect, like I said, is not just like your grasshopper you can knock off. It has a very complex life cycle that has ability to resist these pesticides. Different chemicals have been used. They don't work. And let me also say it, it's not only in Nigeria that we have had this problem. This pest was first noted in 1912. Between 1912, it took about 5 years to give it a name. And this was in South America. In fact, today, it is known as South American pest of tomato. From 1917, it was given a name, and they began to research on it. Up to the year 2000, 2006, it spread to the Mediterranean Europe, went into Spain, went into France, went into Greece, and so many other countries between 2006 and 2008. They kept battling. But because of the nature, it resists chemicals, which means there must be a protocol. Because if you keep applying one chemical to it, the next thing is it will develop resistance.
Now, those countries you mentioned, how did they deal with it?
Yes. I mentioned
so many countries like in Europe, for instance.
I mentioned Russell IPM. Russell is a company in Britain that is noted for studies in pests. They have it, that is just their work. And they have their scientists. 24/7, they are on it. They came up with a pack. This pack is made specific for every country. Like what was used in Spain, or what was used in France, or what was used in Greece, you can't bring it to Nigeria and use it completely in Nigeria. You will need to come with it and then look at our environment. Now develop a protocol for us, because it resists so many chemicals because of environmental variability.
Okay, now talking about invasion, we now believe that it came from Niger Republic.
Yes.
Right. Now, what about quarantine? Because I know we trade with Nigerians, Yes. Perhaps that may have come when maybe Nigerian bought tomatoes from there or what have you. Yes. Now, what about quarantine? Is the Minister of Agriculture really, I've not heard you, in a different fora, talk about quarantining some of these agricultural produce coming into the country and even going outside the country.
No, you see, the quarantine people are doing their work. They are working. But pests like these are not, it's not the kind of pest you just see if you don't have a very good sight. They are very tiny.
Do they fly?
And, yes, they fly. And you don't expect such a fly to be carried by maybe somebody bringing in tomato. if you had traveled to Niger,
Like
even you, the pest can perch on you, the neck of the collar of your shirt, and you walk into Nigeria. Maybe you had 4 or 5 of them on you, and they come into Nigeria. From there, they spread, being a multivolatile insect.
Okay, now
so that's a good spread.
Just yesterday, the Minister of Science and Technology announced to the nation that one of the parasitors under the ministry has been able to invent, if you like, a chemical, so to speak, that could be used to attack this. So how far is that true?
Yeah, thank you. I also heard that. Those are one of those collaborative efforts. I told you earlier that control of tuta absoluta is not by one chemical.
Yeah.
So whatever they have found is just a component of the containment solution. You don't use one chemical. You don't use one organic extract. You need to develop protocols for all the extracts, for all the chemicals. And what I mean by protocol, let me just give you an idea.
Yeah.
If somebody is using a chemical called abexitine, you don't need to use it for too long. Maybe you need to spray it only twice within 5 days. After that, you withdraw that. Which
and
one?
apply another one?
And apply another one.
For this same kind of pest?
Yes, and apply another one. That one you are going to apply. Where are you going to apply it? Are you going to apply it aerially? Are you going to apply it in the soil? Do you understand? So, and what time? And at what rate? So all these things will form component of the containment solution, which is the kind of thing Russell IPM teaches us. And we are trying to work with them. We're already working with them.
Mr. Kano, what is the way out? How can we start our own internal fighting? With what has been said to Nigerians by the Minister of Science and Technology,
yes.
How are you leveraging on that as Minister of Science, Minister of Agriculture? How
No,
are you
it's
leveraging on that?
collaboration.
Is there any synergy between your ministry and that of
That's
the
what I'm
Science
saying. Yes, I say it's one of those collaborative efforts. We have been working with that arm of the Ministry of Science and Technology, which is NARIT.
Okay.
We've been working with them.
Okay.
So, and they also make sure that they work with National Horticultural Research Institute. If they discover a chemical, the National Horticultural Research Institute, Ibadan, now that has the mandate for tomato, we use it to experiment.
In Nigeria, we all know about people being territorial, people not really collaborating. We had that in the past. Yes. But I want to believe that the present administration is looking into the issue of people being territorial, wants to say, look, this is mine, this is my finding, I don't want to share with anybody. Because if that continues to happen, we're not going to achieve anything with these very pests we're talking about. So in this connection, are you people thinking of a species of tomatoes that will plant in this country? Is there any kind of technology that can, enable us to improve on the seeds of these tomatoes so that they can resist, some of these pests?
Yeah, there are high improved yielding seeds that has the potential to resist it if you make sure that the containment solution or the containment parts are used in treating them. That's the only time such can work. Because the problem of tuta absoluta is not a matter of seed problem. It is not a seed problem. It can attack a high-yielding variety. It can attack a low-yielding variety at different times. But if you have complete treatment kit with the protocols, you will definitely get your right yield with good variety of seeds. Because what should be important to us is what tonnage can we get if we use a particular seed. We don't have to go to a seed, use a seed, we will get 5 tons per hectare. We will want to be like those who get 100 tons per hectare, 150 tons per hectare. So all we need to do is to get such seeds.
Are you prepared to move into genetically modified seeds?
We are not there yet. We are not
yet.
yet. There are hybrid seeds that are not genetically modified.
But are they within the reach of the farmers?
You've heard of our GES program. One of the essences of GES is to assist farmers in getting such high-yielding seeds, which we know that our costs are very high in price. But when the component of GES is put into it, the price drops by that component cost of GES. If it is 50%, if the cost of 1 gram of tomato seed is 1,000, the government pays 50% and the farmer pays 50%. So by that, were made within the reach of the farmer. So that's the essence of GES.
There is,
one of the essences.
There is a West African Agricultural Productivity Program that's running at the moment. Does it cover seeds like tomato seeds? Because they are into grains and technology, about the seeds and seedlings. Are you keen into that? Or do they actually have the mandate to cover the area of tomato?
Yeah, they are all inputs. They have mandate to cover inputs. So tomato is part of the input.
Okay, so what's the way out? Let me ask that question again. What's the way out? Because this tuta absoluta is absolutely dealing with us when it comes to tomato. Yes. Because every household in Nigeria, takes tomato. So what can be done now, or where are you at the level? Because I know you're fighting at the moment. So at what level are you?
Well, recall that the other day, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Chief Audogbe, gave a press conference and told the press that the government is doing something. And I want to use this opportunity to tell you that he has not folded his arms. He has ordered that containment solutions be brought in immediately. And I want to assure you by his words, in no distant time, those things will come in, because he is really feeling bad that a lot of gap has been created. That gap needs to be filled. We don't have tomato now.
And they're prepared to fill it now.
And that is it. That's the essence of him saying, bring in the containment kit. The containment kit has seeds in it.
Okay.
And then the other solution, which our scientists will now work with. To make
All right,
sure that,
all right. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Kanu Michael.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being part of the show tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right, tomato is very important, and we really need it.
It has no alternative for now.
Now, Mr. Kanu Michael is the Deputy Director, Horticulture in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture. He's been discussing the issue of the absoluta we've been talking about. Thank you indeed. Now, we now pause for more messages. The program returns very shortly.
Hi. We look forward to welcoming you to the 12th edition of the African Movie Academy Awards in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria, known also as the Garden City, on the 11th of June. There is no other place to be.
Africa Movie Academy Award, AMA, welcomes you to Port Harcourt, the Garden City, June 11th, 2016. You're welcome.
The production, distribution, and sale of counterfeit and fake drugs is a corrupt practice and a crime against humanity. This has informed several measures and strategies to combat fake drugs, including introduction of anti-counterfeiting cutting-edge technologies to detect fake drugs on the spot. These technologies are being deployed to all the states across the Federation, as well as the internally displaced people's camps. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, and his team are committed to this fight.
The federal government of Nigeria, in line with its anti-corruption agenda and posture, will fight a total war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products in order to ensure that Nigerians remain healthy and well.
Lend your support and join NAFDAC to rid the country of fake drugs and unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Sports now. Super Eagles set to
2016 Olympic Games very meaningful to Nigeria.
In their bid to sustain sound health and high productivity, staff of the National Electricity Regulatory Commission on Saturday embarked on a Keep Fit exercise as they walked through the streets of Abuja.
We decided to organize this and also to unite as a family to brand NEC, because we believe that we can do this job.
Being the first in the series, the Commission plans to maintain the routine on intervals due to its immense benefits. With sports update, Kenan Imabodike, NTA News.
Check on tomorrow's weather prospects.
Welcome. My name is Oluchukwu Anopu. The country is saturated with moisture due to rainfall activities in the past 24 hours. And with forcing functions like temperature, it's not unlikely that rains are still anticipated around the northeast, Maiduguri, Yobe,